It was really hard for all of us. I didn't want to come this far just to let the whole team down. I didn't quit my job just so I find out a year or two later that I just couldn't cut it. But I was under a lot of pressure, and folding the company seemed like the easy way out of this. But there's one piece of feedback that we received at these conventions. They said, you should put this in a VR arcade. So people who are not interested in VR, who walk by one of these places, whether they're with a friend or they're just trying to see what it's about, they're gonna walk in and try it, and that's gonna turn them into a VR convert. We know Starship Commander grows the VR audience, and that's what it is lacking right now. That is why there are great games out there being made by people who cannot find the funding, because they go and say, well, how is this gonna sell so many copies?
There's only so many people who have headsets.
Exactly.
There's just only so many headsets out there in the market.
And that's why the arcades are so critical. And then a year or two from now, when the prices come down, all that content they remember seeing, they can look at it and say, oh, now I can buy this at home. And then the VR audience is much bigger. You can start to have these gigantic games that take up hours of your time to play. It's funny, it's a catch-22. High-end gamers don't want to buy the headsets because they think that there's, quote, no games. And the reality is there's tons of games, they're just not very long. You've got another group of people who are like, well, I don't want to buy VR because I don't know if there's any games on there, because they spend every single penny, even their retirement money, on getting that game out, because everybody who's shipping a great game in VR right now is so passionate. We launched the game in arcades, and well, we found out that the foot traffic for them wasn't as high as we expected. Those arcades weren't attracting the families and the other groups that we know loved this game. We really wanted to get this game out to as many people as possible, and we took a gamble because we really stayed the course to broaden the VR audience, because we knew that's what this industry needed. But I think what really worked against us was the fact that we got sold that VR is somehow this really hardcore gaming platform, but it's really far removed from what the actual truth is. VR is big in healthcare fields. It's solving real-world issues like PTSD and lazy eye right now. VR is huge in education because, think about it. If I can show you something instead of letting you read it out of a book, it's a way better way to learn. There are conferences and meetups that are happening completely in VR now, but directly marketing VR as this hardcore next-gen gaming platform, it's not really done any good for us developers or for the consumers out there. In hindsight, now looking back at it in 2020, selling VR as this hardcore gaming platform actually turned off a lot of the mainstream audiences that we were trying to bring in to grow the platform. And so that left a group of hardcore gamers severely disappointed because the games weren't there. The sentiment has actually translated into articles trashing VR based off this false narrative that it's a failed gaming platform. Sure, yeah, you take an $800 PC gaming add-on, you can make it look like a failure next to 100 million PlayStation consoles easily if you ignore the world-changing healthcare implications, the education and business ramifications of this technology. I just wish I had a magic wand and I could just wave it and start funding great games to build this medium, because that's what VR really needs today in 2020. But that's just wishful thinking. All I can do is release the work that I've put in there, that my team and I are really proud of creating, and just hoping that people spread the word and say, hey, VR is more than just for hardcore gamers. The VR business needs a lot of things, and we're doing the best that we can on our end to try to grow it. And growing it is going to solve so many problems. And the way to grow it is to give people an experience that everybody can play, no matter your age, no matter how able-bodied you are, no matter how little or how much room you have. That is the power of what's going to drive that VR adoption. Once you start to see, oh, it's more than just a game. Oh, I'm starting to see VR is cool because I get to interject myself. I get to be me, or I get to be someone even greater than myself.